Well, as you said, systems architect, right? I think it's really all about organization and being in the moment and knowing at every moment what is your most important job. And sometimes that job is, taking care of your multifamily syndication because something's going wrong. But many times that most important job, and most of the times I would think, is being a parent, being present and being a parent in your children's life. There's no way you can go back in time and, be present for them later. So the time is always now when it comes to children. That being said, I will say that the majority of my, I'm getting a little kickback on the audio there. The majority of my deep multifamily investing has been once I had no longer was a day-to-day parent. My husband and I are a blended family. We have 6 daughters. They are all adults at this point. In fact, our youngest 2 are, 25 and older and in grad school, finishing grad school, both of them. And our oldest daughters are between 30 and 40, believe it or not. And we have 10 grandchildren between them. So large family. I love large families. I come from a large family. But it didn't all start out that way. I think I've learned a lot of lessons about parenthood because I've been a parent for a very long time. I was a single parent as a teenager. I was on welfare and going to UC Berkeley, actually. I graduated high school at 17, moved to the Bay Area. I grew up in LA, moved to the Bay Area. You'll probably love this, Feely. I left UC Berkeley a year into it because I didn't quite know I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I moved to Jamaica because what else would you do, right? So I moved to Jamaica. I was living in the country, way up in the country. I moved there, with a man, my boyfriend, who was Jamaican, and we were running a taxi business there from Montego Bay to Kingston. I got to know the country very, very well. I kind of consider part of my growing up was in Jamaica. So that gave me a whole flavor right there. And I don't know if I would have become such a young mother if it hadn't been for that experience. Here I was 18 years old, living in the country, and people would, say, well, how many children do you have? And I'd be like, I just turned 18. I don't have any children. They're like, you're 18 and you don't have any kids? You should have 3 by now. Like, it's a very different culture, right? So I made a conscious decision in that experience to have a child, and I got pregnant, intentionally. That relationship didn't go well, I'll say. I did not choose a good partner for me in life in that experience. I was very young, and he also, very unfortunately, got into drugs. I did not at that time, but he became, unbeknownst to me, he became a cocaine addict, which is not a recipe for a good relationship. So that's how I became, moved back to the U.S. and became a single parent, and went back to school. And those are the things that, so I went back to UC Berkeley as a single parent and went on welfare. I had to really dig deep and realize that is what that system is there for, is to help parents that needed to move forward in their life. And as somebody who grew up a middle-class person, it wasn't easy for me to do that. But once I realized that's what this service is for, and so I took advantage of it and got my undergraduate degree while raising my baby. And I think that there's a lot of lessons you learn from being a parent, because I think that there's a lot of men that are single parents as well. So I like to talk about parenting in a gender neutral term, gender neutral words, because so many men out there are giving their all and raising their children on their own as well. But all of these lessons of, going to UC Berkeley, working as a single parent, putting myself through grad school as a single parent while I was a programmer, all of these things taught me so much. Multitasking, putting somebody's needs before my own, always focusing on them and doing what's hard. It's like I was tired. It didn't matter. I needed to, that child depended on me. And I think being a single parent gives you an even more hard crust. You know, it really pushes your limits because there's nobody else. There wasn't another person that was going to help pay the rent. There wasn't another person that was going to get up in the middle of the night if she had a fever. So that really helped form, I think that helped form me and made me a badass.